It's so good to hear you guys' voices.
It's good to hear you.
Good to hear your voice. Oh, wait, here, let me do the intro. Okay. Welcome to Waifus of Overwatch. My name is Erin Fitzgerald.
And this is Danielle McCrae.
And we are back. We haven't done an episode in a long time, but really, who is worthy of being on this show? I mean, we had Matilda last time. She was amazing, but we wanted to wait until someone super mega awesome was available, and we did. And you're welcome, entire universe of Overwatch fans. We bring to you the one, the only Jennifer Hale.
Man, what an introduction. I don't know. I feel shy now.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay. You can just be Ashe and not be shy.
All right. Well, then it's my way, or who am I kidding? It's my way.
Yes. I think that's funny because that's not really a line for Ashe. That's just you.
Yeah. When I first heard Ashe and she had that line, I instantly just heard you. I didn't even hear Ashe. I'm like, that's Jen. That's totally.
It's funny. I had forgotten this, but we went in to kind of work on the Ashe sort of, taglines and, character stuff, and I had forgotten that they let me ad-lib a bunch of stuff, and I ad-libbed that.
Yes.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I love that. There's so many she has so many great lines. Like, just everything about her is so much fun. Okay, wait. This is going to be a harder interview for Danielle and I because we know Jen. So I immediately want to just jump off from that point of already knowing her and asking her questions from where we know her from. But I realize that for most of you listening, you have not met Jen and you don't know anything about her. So I'm going to do some back to basic questions. Jen, just pretend like we don't all know each other. And, tell us about yourself, where you're from, and where you trained as an actor, because I know you are well trained.
Oh, well, I'm trained. We'll see how well it is. I'm originally from Canada. I was born in Labrador. And,
Thank you.
Was brought back to the States around 2, grew up in the U.S., mostly down south, which is why Ashe was very much home for me in a lot of ways. But
Alabama, right?
I've lived in the Midwest, I've lived in South, I've lived out in LA for a long time. I went to a fine arts high school. My real love was rock and roll. Started singing in clubs in 10th grade. But then by the time I was a sophomore, junior in college, I was paying my bills acting, doing mostly commercial stuff. And then still singing rock and roll, but then I eventually had to pick because there's only so many hours in the day. And moved out to LA to, go to the next level up. I started in Birmingham, then went to Atlanta, moved out to LA, and about, kind of floundered around the on-camera world, not quite making enough to pay the bills. Made a voiceover tape just to get some work and make some cash because I knew it really well. And then there you go. Here I am now,
exactly.
A little later, a couple decades later.
That's it.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
And I've studied along the way. I mean, I credit any skills I have to, a fierce desire to learn and a hellacious work ethic, and possibly a musical ear that I was born with. But honestly, my teachers and my peers have given me the tools and the access and the information to be able to grow as a human and an artist. And
you're like one of the actors who are always you're always growing and you're always taking classes and you're always, making sure that you're finding out different aspects of the craft because it's an ongoing thing, mastering this craft. So you're a big advocate of that. I find that a lot of the people out there who want to get into voiceover think that they do a couple of classes and that's it.
Well, you can choose that, and if you choose that, you're going to have a couple jobs, and that's it.
Exactly. Yeah.
You got to continue to grow because the industry is growing and changing all the time. The style now is not what it was 2 years ago. It's not going to be,
exactly.
2 years from now it's going to be different. And also, I think one has to evolve as a person.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a one-trick pony, that's awesome. Just know that that's going to narrow your economic possibilities. And one of my other passions is sort of money, how it actually works in the world. And I like to grow it. So I need to grow me to grow it. So.
Yes. Yes. And also for all of the hardcore Ashe fans, I happen to know that you actually own horses and ride horses. How old were you when you first rode your first horse and claimed your status as an actual cowgirl?
I don't remember. I came out of the womb wanting a horse. I have this crazy theory that, people are like, people grow up to be the product of their nature and their nurture. But I think there's a third piece, which is that, the atoms that go into make up a newborn baby are actually billions of years old because of the laws of physics. And there's such a thing as muscle memory and skill memory and experiential memory. And those memories are made up of little things that are made up of atoms. And as far as I know, I don't think there's like a Men in Black stick that wipes your memory of your atoms. So maybe some of my atoms lived around horses, and they sort of were very dominant ones that took over my desire to be around horses my entire life. But, so that's my theory of like the 3-part causes of who we are. But we couldn't swing it when I was a kid. We didn't have any money. My parents were students and for a long time, and didn't have any cash, but I used to save up my allowance. And the first time I remember riding I was like maybe 11 I was at camp. I was like 10 years old, and I got to go to camp, and it was the next year I got to do a horse session and be around the horses and for a week, and it was amazing. And then I'd save up my allowance and go ride my bike down to the stables and ride. And that's one of the first things I did when I started working was I rescued a horse, and then I as they say, he was green and I was green, and green on green makes black and blue. And I've had like 4 or 5 concussions, pretty much all of them from horses or a mountain bike, maybe one. And Gravity and I are super intimate. So I now have to wear a helmet in all my hobbies because I'm past my concussion limit.
Oh God.
But I've had horses. I now have one Mustang. I still feel like I have 2 because the one I had along with this one for a long time was named Tibbets, and he's one of my soulmates in this life. He was, I miss him. I think of him every day. Every single.
Wow.
He was a beautiful, hilarious, sort of mischievous, not arrogant, but he just knew a lot, and he knew a lot. He just didn't like to put up with crap, but he loved to have a good time, So
I love that.
To play tag, he would take the hair, the rubber bands you put ponytails up with. He would like pull that out of and work that with his slimy face until he got it out of my hair, and then we'd play tag. He'd chase me, I'd chase him. It was super fun. And the Mustang I have now, Kino, is just, he has the most beautiful heart he's the kindest horse, I think, one of the kindest horses I've ever met. He's just a beautiful soul. And so, yeah, they're amazing.
Well, you attracted exactly who you are.
You're so sweet.
No, I truly believe that. I think we attract the people that really teach us, like mirrors. People, I know it's a horse, but I believe animals are soul as well, and we attract the beings that are the mirrors of who we are, so we learn and grow and become better versions of ourselves.
Then I need to take care of myself as well as my cat does.
Maybe she's trying to tell you something.
Right? She's my little teacher.
Maybe. Now that's an interesting beginning. I mean, your life story does differ from Ashe's in terms of Ashe didn't come from a poor background. She came from lots of money. So like there is a big difference between you and Ashe in terms of upbringing and it's like her developing her attitude came out of a completely different place from your developing your strength and confidence.
That is true. I mean, I guess, she's got the entitlement of somebody who was born with a lot of money. I guess any entitlement I have comes from the fact that I'm a hell of a fighter. I'll get through pretty much anything. I mean, there will absolutely be a circumstance that will defeat me, take me down, but I don't know much that keeps me down.
Exactly. But you've learned it through experience, whereas she just kind of has it.
Yeah, she just has it. I love that. Yeah. That's my next life.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. So was there any parts of her character that you found challenging that you were like, oh, that's a different direction than anyone's asked me to go before? Or is it all pretty much your wheelhouse of experience at this point? I mean, you are the Guinness Book of World Records holder for the most video game character voices for a voice actress. So I feel like
Steve Bloom is the dude side, yeah.
Right, and Steve Bloom is the guy side. So you like, I feel like you may have covered everything, or is she, or has Blizzard created something completely unique?
As cheesy as this sounds, every single character is unique, and one of my favorite things about taking on these roles is I get to disappear, and I guess maybe it's a disappearing of the ego, I suppose, but if you had to get technical about it, which I don't don't really know that I want to, because it takes the mystery and the joy out of it. I just love to disappear. And what I saw on that page was so clear, and I just dropped in.
Yeah.
And that's how I work. And it's not too often. There are times when I'll look at a page and I'll be like, what? And then I know it's someone else's job.
Yeah.
Or that it's a great opportunity for me to stretch. I mean, I remember, what was it, God of War, Electo. That was terrifying for me to do.
Right.
Because she just trades in ways that I don't in my life. And she has permissions that I don't really have, but I sure enough found them for her. And especially under Chris Zimmerman's guidance. Chris was brilliant. And, that was, but generally I'm pretty intuitive. I mean, I've spent my gosh, in high school we did Stanislavski, and there was Meisner study, and I've studied so many different formal
techniques
of acting that I now have my own soup that's my mishmash, and it's full of those basics that we all look at, which is, who am I? What do I want? How does this person I'm inhabiting get what they want? What pieces of me are, available to them, and what pieces of me are off limits to them, both emotionally, vocally, physically, reference-wise. As Kevin Bacon said, you just drop in and pretend. And it's, it's like, I guess what, any sport, any skill, playing a game, gaming itself, after a while, at first you're like, okay, I move this way, and then you just do it. And that's the joy of it, because I like to get out of the way and let the writer's intention come through, because writers are the true gods here. They come, without them, none of us would have anything to do.
To say.
That's so true.
Yeah. Well, what does Ashe mean to you now that because I am so impressed with your ability to keep a secret, by the way. The fact that you had done it like a year before and nobody had a clue. And you and Andrea, like nothing slips. Well played. I was super shocked. But what does she mean to you? You had some private time with her, a good year to be with her, with the writers and with Andrea and everybody. And then she became public. And did your feelings about her shift once you started to experience her through the kind of like the audience, once they get to experience her as well?
Yeah, what she means to me is 10 tons of fun. I mean, she just has this permission and abandon that's like, all right, whoa, okay, we're doing this, and that's just so much fun. And I knew how much I enjoyed her, and Matt and I got to record together a couple times, which was fantastic.
Awesome.
I mean, that energy that you get to have when you record with somebody, Blizzard is so smart to do that.
We're talking Matt Mercer, guys, the guy who plays McCree.
Yeah. McCree, yeah. And so I knew I just absolutely loved it. And look, I've been in this business long enough. I never count my chickens till they've hatched or walking around the yard and starting to lay eggs. I just don't. So it's like, well, this has been an incredible little experience in this bubble, and I don't know if it'll appear in the real world. And I don't think much about what people are going to think or how people are going to respond, because I've sort of trained myself not to pay attention to things that are out of my control. Because that's been a recipe for misery. And I prefer not to have misery, unless it's instructive and going to make me grow. So I was surprised. I mean, I knew that I was going to BlizzCon and going to be there on the Saturday.
Yeah.
And then I was getting texts and inquiries from people going, are you in this? And I was like, I don't have permission.
Right.
And I was like, oh, gotta go. And finally I got my agents to get a hold of Blizzard on the Friday and go, can I please say something? Because everybody else is. And I was like, okay, yes, this is me. And it was incredible, the response. It was just like, wow. I love that people have so much fun with her. And, fortunately we're getting to the place where we've got more and more and more empowered women out there on the field. And so that's becoming less of an exception.
Yes.
Great. And so I love kind of that evolution from something like, say Commander Shepard way back in, 2017 or 2007. People are like, whoa, how different,
Yeah.
Now people are like, hey, that's cool. Just because it's cool on its own.
And people are becoming more accepting to it too, which is awesome. I love that a lot.
And they're having the right to expect it.
Yes.
even better. Like I'm like, you darn right you are. And it's nice. It's nice to see that becoming part of the mainstream, and just, that she's fun. She's a badass. She kicks ass, but she's not a bad person.
Yes.
She's definitely morally unique, but she's,
she walks her own path. She really does. I like that it's not some sort of moral template of either this or that. She makes her choices based on what she chooses in that moment that feels right to her. It's like standing in her truth.
It's her family and running her show.
I love that.
I love that. And she lives by her own definition.
Yes.
That's one of my favorite things about her.
Yeah.
Very instructive. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to ash this. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to ash this. I love that. Everybody, now you know, when you need to get some balls to do something, I'm just going to ash this.
And there's never, McCree's the only one who makes her lose her, what?
Yeah.
Makes her lose it, because he's got her in this sort of more vulnerable spot.
Because he knows her.
More to become later. But, she's pretty calm. She'll get frustrated with her crew, but she won't lose it unless really it's McCree. So,
she gets under her skin. Yeah.
Everybody's got somebody who can push their buttons.
I love Bob so much. Like, I did get a Bob shirt, and I yell regularly, Bob, do something, because please.
Yes.
I can't. I feel like that is the answer to everything in the universe. Whenever something is now frustrating me with politics or anything, I am now just find myself yelling, Bob, do something. Yeah. And it makes everything better.
You know what? We need a t-shirt that says we are all Bob.
We are all Bob.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd happily wear that.
Right.
Bob, do something. It's so good. It's so good. This is a question we ask all the Overwatch actors who have been on this show, but it's so different asking you, because I think the only other exception really is Fred Tatasciore, who's been on this show. Nobody else has the breadth of work that you have. When the game came out, Matt Mercer wasn't as huge as he is now. A lot of the actors were on-camera actors who were hired, and they didn't have a huge following already. I mean, you've been in so many epic video games, and you have so many epic followings that you're already a huge celebrity when it comes to video games. So the question is, and this is, I'm so excited to ask you this.
Yes.
How has being in Overwatch changed your life? And in your case, has it at all?
It has expanded my existing life.
Okay.
I'm blessed enough through my work to have, as you said, an awesome body of work that I'm super grateful for, a wide variety of roles and experiences, an amazing fan base that I adore. And this has brought in a whole new element. Overwatch has brought in a piece that is more of what I want to see in the world.
Yes.
The community's incredible.
It is incredible.
Yeah. The people are like it's like a family.
It is a family.
It's the family that you want to be in, not the family you're trying to get out of.
Exactly.
So, and the cast, hanging out with the other cast members, oh my God, I love them all so much.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to spend significant amounts of time with Anjali and Carolina, which is
I love them.
With Jen Cohn. Oh my God, I love that woman. And Paul and Keith, and it's just been incredible. They're just such a lovely group of human beings. Sometimes some actors aren't as solid with themselves, so when you're with them, you're looking over your shoulder to see where else they should be instead.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love about the Overwatch family that I've had the privilege to be around is that when they're with you, mm-hmm. and they're just hanging out, and they're just humans, and they're lovely humans. And then of course, more time with Andrea is like,
you never go wrong with that. Yeah, any excuse.
yeah, it's divine. And the Blizzard crew as a whole.
Yeah.
Every time I work with them, they're just
amazing.
They make next level stuff, and they're next level humans. They're just next humans, and they're like, yep, we're gonna be okay. The world is not necessarily geopolitically what I would prefer right now, But it's I call the people I'm not as fond of our trainers. They're making us get stronger to, take
action.
over.
Yeah, take action. Get us off our butts. Get us doing something.
Yeah, because apathy was a disease that really has been killing us. And so, these are the next step of the world lies in the, I look around this community around me. I'm like, all right, we're going to be okay because this is the upcoming community. So we're all right.
Yeah, it's really. I think Overwatch is really. It's Overwatch is like a microcosm and a macrocosm, because when you look at the community and what Overwatch is doing, just in the sense of games, period. Like I feel like. Yes, of course, girl gamers have been around forever. Like, since the first gaming system, girls have owned video games and played video games, even though we were completely ignored for decades. But I feel like with the Overwatch community, I mean, especially with the gamer from Korea, Geguri, she's a professional gamer for the Overwatch League, and she plays on Shanghai Dragons. With her appearance in the Overwatch League and just going to that arena, because Danielle and I go all the time, and it's just it's 50% females who attend, like 50% or more of females, diverse females. It's not all a bunch of white chicks. It's like every person under the sun showing up for this game, because this game showed up for us, type of a thing. Now, don't get me.
Favorite things about it is the diversity of it.
And we're still waiting on our black female, visual character in Overwatch. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to miss out on mentioning that. I know, Blizzard, sometimes you listen to this show when we're looking for a black female character we can see, please, but we know it's coming. We know it's coming. We'll be patient.
Blizzard is already on it. If I know them. I mean, and
yeah,
please, I don't
I
have
know. I
to
believe that they're working on it. I don't believe that they wouldn't come through, because they've come through all this way already. They've done some brilliant stuff. They are.
And they lead from a humanistic place, not a capitalistic place.
No, and seriously, the Black Girl Gamer community is built in Overwatch League, so it's an important part of the community for sure. But it's been so amazing to keep having all of these amazingly strong female characters, and then all of these girl gamers showing up and not being afraid to show up in person and online and streaming and talking about it, and that's the microcosm. And now it's happening in the macrocosm of the government and the world. It's a whole thing of this world needs heroes.
Well, and that's the thing about change. I think because we have the lifespan we have, and we live in the immediate gratification world we live in, we're a little clueless about how change actually happens in some ways. Not all of us, but many of us are, myself included, some days. Or some days we're clueless and some days we're not, which is... Change takes a while, but you bump a rocket 3 degrees off course, 2 degrees, 1 degree off course, it's going somewhere else.
Right.
And we bumped this rocket pretty hard. We just have to hold course.
Correct. We have to correct course. We're just correcting it, putting it back on course. Correct the course to get back on course. Because there was this actual somewhere, I can't remember where I read this, but when a spaceship leaves Earth, it is off course maybe it was the Jeff Olson book, 97% of the time, and then it's only on course 3%. So that's 97% of the time it's spent correcting the course.
That correction takes a certain kind of vigilance, and that doesn't mean you stare at it all the time. In terms of our own lives and our own bits of change, it just means you keep it in your mind. Otherwise, and the phrase is holding an intention.
Yeah.
And then show up and take the tiny actions, like, I don't know, show up and vote. Say something when you see something that's not, hold to your own values. Help somebody out. The little tiny bits and pieces you can do along the way that keep us on course.
Yeah. It all adds up, too.
It does. I mean, it's that thing of, be the change. That's how you be the change. You don't have to go out and lead a movement.
Right.
You just have to be the person that you wish other people were as well.
Yeah.
And have compassion for them when they can't, because, we've all had those crap days too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and again, when you have a crap day, the part of the going off course is just letting it happen until you correct course. So you can't be judgmental about going off course. You can't beat yourself up for going off course, because you're supposed to end up off course, and then you're supposed to correct course. That's all it is. It's just part of life.
None of this is off course, because it's here.
Right.
If it's here, this is as it is rolling, even the hard parts. And, I have to remind myself this when I'm in the sucky parts. And I do remember this. had some stuff this year that was super difficult, and I just was fortunately, enough of me was able to remember to surrender and just go with it, because this is part of the training, and I'm starting to come out the other side, and I can see the lessons and the benefits and the good parts of it. It's like, I was liking it to, when you drive down a street of houses and it stinks of cow poop, you're like, what is that? Somebody dumped a bunch of poo on their lawn to fertilize it. So it's awful. But you come back in, 6-8 weeks and it's gorgeous.
Exactly.
You're just in the poo. You're in the poop. So while you fertilize yourself, and then eventually you come out of it and you're all green and pretty until the next time you go in the poo for the next upgrade.
Exactly. Exactly.
Upgrades.
It's so true.
Right now, yeah.
Yeah, it's so true. And we talked on it a little bit, but like, if you could define what the Overwatch spirit is. I mean, you've been to BlizzCon for Overwatch specifically now, so you've seen the Overwatch fans from being on the panel, from doing the signings. And when you if you could define the Overwatch spirit, what would that be?
One word comes to mind, and I don't know if it's going to sound big enough, but it's everything to me, which is community.
Yeah.
That's a great word. It's great
choice.
Inclusive, powerful community. Sometimes when fans come up, they're like, hi, I hope I can be part. And one of the things I really noticed with every single Overwatch fan at BlizzCon was like, hey, so this is mine too. It's nice to meet you. Welcome.
Yeah. Welcome to our family.
Yeah, there's an ownership and like, no, this is our world. We're glad you're in it. Welcome, come on in. Yeah, this is our world. We're all in this world. We're all in this world together.
Oh, I love that. That's a great way to describe it. Yes.
That was my experience at BlizzCon. It's pretty great. Yeah.
Oh my God.
The cosplays. Oh my gosh, they're
amazing.
They were so good. Yeah, they were so good. Now, have you? I mean, I know you watched your the animated interstitial with Ashe because it was played live at BlizzCon, and you got to see it. But have you had a chance? I mean, I know you're a busy woman. I know what your schedule's like. Trying to schedule this was amazing, and I'm so grateful that you fit us in. But have you gotten a chance to see any of the other Overwatch animated interstitials at all, or know any? Yeah.
I've seen a few of them. I mean, because fortunately when we were doing them, we were doing some tweaks to picture and stuff. And then I've caught a few in that first week or two when everything was out. I tried to watch as many as I could. And oh my gosh, I love it so much.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, right? It's so gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's so the best. I mean, here we are, we're interviewing, and you really pretty much just got announced like just a few months ago. So we haven't even gotten to really see your character grow yet or develop, which is kind of wild because it's crazy that the game has gone on this long and that there's an actual, I mean, I'm excited to see in February 14th, we have, Overwatch League starts, which is, it's going to be amazing. I'm excited to see if Ashe gets used and how she gets used.
I hope so.
Well, because they use McCree a lot, so I figure Ashe is an easy, I figure they're going to use her. I'm excited to see it.
Honestly, I think she will be used.
Yeah.
I'm just saying for one player in particular I've been watching on Twitch, his name is Shortcore. He's been using her a lot.
Woo!
I think she's going to be used, honestly.
Go Shortcore. Let's do this.
He's amazing.
Yeah. That's going to be super cool. Yeah, this whole thing is just unbelievable. I never imagined myself playing a video game this long, the same video game, let alone have a podcast where we talk about it and our obsession with it, or own 90% of my clothes being Overwatch-related clothing.
That's awesome.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm excited to see what happens for you in the Overwatch universe in the years to come and what happens.
Me too.
It's pretty thrilling.
Yeah, it is. It's so thrilling. I mean, you never know how many big blasts you're going to get to participate in. And listen, everything I do, I really do love. And
I know.
But I've had a couple of big blasts in my time, and to have this one is like a beautiful gift. I wasn't expecting it, and it's just
right.
Such a
Oh, let's talk about that a little bit. So, word on the street from Blizzard, because of course I watched all the videos, was that that she wasn't meant to be an in-game character. She was meant to be a character that was written in the interstitial, and I think it was Michael Chu, as he was writing it, thought it was him who he wanted to cast you. But of course, Blizzard does everything the right way, and they held auditions, and this is what I heard. They held auditions, and they were listening to auditions and listening to auditions and listening to auditions, and finally they listened to this one audition, and he's like, "Oh my God, that's exactly it. That's Ashe. Who is that?" And they said, "Oh, it's Jennifer Hale." And so he got exactly what he wanted. He knew it from the beginning, and I think it was Michael Chu, right? Like it was Michael who wrote the.
Michael.
Yeah. So how did you go? Did you know any of that your character wasn't meant to be in game and it was just going to be a little, non-playable character, and then ended up as it was a question? Were you the character that was the voice in the ship in that one thing like last year, but we didn't know who it was?
I don't know.
Me neither.
I don't remember.
Remember Danielle in that one event?
I bought the rooms and the NDAs are so heavy.
Yeah.
I'll walk out. Like I can't tell you what I did 2 days ago because I'm just in the habit of brain flush.
Because there was like
expectations,
Retribution or something. The special event with Reaper, Danielle. Remember that one?
Yeah, I remember that.
And remember, there was a female pilot who flew the spaceship in to pick us up, and the voice on it, I swear to God, at the time, I'm like, I think that's Jen Hale.
The voice sounded very similar.
Yeah, I thought it was you, and I was like, but I didn't ask you because I knew they weren't releasing it, and it's, it was a non-playable character at the time, and you never know. I was just, anyway, I don't know if any of you guys listening know if that was Jen or not, but I feel like might be.
You know what? There might be archived footage, I would think, on YouTube. I'm sure somebody may have recorded that event and put it up on YouTube.
Maybe.
Yeah, let us know. Yeah.
We'll find out, because I feel like that was a little foreshadowing to Jen ending up in the game.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
That's so cool.
It is.
Yeah.
It's like a bunch of Easter eggs.
Yeah.
And it's only an extra Easter egg for those of us who know you, and we're like, oh my God, that's a person I know. I'm so happy for her. This is awesome. It makes it so much better. It's so cool. Yeah. It's very exciting. It's very exciting.
What's so funny about the McCree short that got released? I think, was it BlizzCon got released at?
Mm-hmm.
So when I watched that, and I saw Ashe, I'm like, who is this woman? I want her to be in this game, like, immediately. And so after that short happened, I was talking to my girlfriend, I'm like, please let her be in this game. Please let her be in this game. Something about her that I really want to try her out, I want to play her. And then they announced she's out. I'm like, okay, good, perfect. It's like they're listening.
Because it would be really mean for them to release a character and not release a character. Like, I think...
exactly.
We're at the point, like you said, it's the community thing now, where, like, I feel like... I don't think Blizzard's going to do anything to mess up this community, because I think this is a really strong kind... I mean, of course there's toxicity because video games in general are still dealing with toxicity. But the movement against toxicity towards gentle, kind, and loving behavior within video games is growing, and women are leading the way, and the diversity of this game creates a real tolerance that didn't exist in video games before, that really is beginning to be like tolerance in terms of accepting everybody and zero tolerance to toxicity.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I'm watching that, as we all are, I'm seeing that whole move toward reducing the toxicity and getting it out and getting rid of it. And one of the things that impresses me, and it's very clear, how female leadership is a big part of it. But also, I think one of the most impressive not so silent forces to me is the bravery of men. Because there's a certain culture among men that's traditionally like that whole toxic masculinity thing, like, I'm a dude, rah, 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 rah.
Right.
And dudes who are brave enough, there are so many who are brave enough to step into their best selves and go, you know what, no.
This isn't cool, dude. Yeah, I surround myself with guys who game with that attitude, so I don't even have to call someone out. I like it when the guys check the guys.
Yeah. And those dudes, I really believe in celebrating them very much. Of course, they're doing what they should do, but let's also not dismiss that sometimes that is not easy. And they're having to go it alone and stand out and risk ridicule and toxic masculinity being thrown at them. So I appreciate them so much. I mean, I'm the mother of a dude, and I it makes me excited for his future. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
I've never asked you this question in real life either.
Really?
Do you play video games, Jen Hale?
Do I play? Suck at it. I spend so much time doing them that any free time I have, I'm like, oh my God, please could I go outside? Like yesterday, we all stayed up in my house. We got in my 4Runner, my little urban assault vehicle, and went up and did donuts in the mud and went for a hike and built dams in the little spontaneous streams.
She doesn't need video games, everybody. She's living life to the fullest.
Oh no, I mean, and video games are beautiful. I just didn't develop the skill set. I played once. Tom Bissell, brilliant writer, was doing an article about some stuff around Mass Effect and me, and he made me play for an hour, and I just wanted to go back in the studio and do it again. I'm like, oh, Jesus, if I'd known that stuff, he had done it slightly differently, and it made me crazy.
Yeah,
so
it's definitely, I think...
like to watch, and I like to stay up on the technology and like what's going on technically and experientially for the players so that I can really optimize and maximize what I'm giving you guys.
Well, it definitely, it's got to help if you're doing mocap and performance capture to be able to see what it is that the player is doing, and so you understand what a player has to do in order to achieve a goal so that you know what their intimate experience is with the character.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, for me, I come to all this just from humanity, hardcore humanity. Like, what's the humanity of this being that I'm playing? Okay, let's do this.
Right.
Whatever that humanity looks like, it's not pretty sometimes. Well, it's rarely pretty, but it's not nice sometimes. But for them, they don't think they're not nice. They really are just being as effective as they can in their world.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know if you guys can hear the construction going on. I don't know if my mic is picking it up, but I'm just letting you know that's not some weird bird calling in the background. It is just construction on a building.
Oh, it's a big bird.
This is cool. Well, this has been amazing. You kind of fit everything in. You're always like that, though. You make the most economical use of time, and I appreciate it because your time is so valuable. Is there anything that you want to promote that you've got going on in your universe? I would love for the fans to know where to follow you on social media, what your website is, if you have any announcements that you want to share. Anything you're working on that you want to share, please.
Yeah, the number one thing is Twitter. I am at Hale Tweets. Love me some Twitter. I've got my little podcast about money and you guys. One of my favorite things to do is I'll go to a con and I'll sit down with my laptop and a microphone and I'll just sit with people and we'll talk about them. And it's up on iTunes. It's The Art of Money with Jennifer Hale. Also, I'm calling it Adulting with Money, which I kind of like better.
Adulting with Money. I love that.
I may be working on like a little short book about it. We'll see. I'm slowing time down for the next 18 months or so because that's what's needed. But if it's out there about me, it'll be on Twitter.
Perfect. Perfect.
I do want to say one thing to everybody out there. I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you to you guys very much for the opportunity to be here. And I want to say thank you to every single solitary fan, player, human out there. You are amazing. You matter. I really much love to you all, and thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm pretty sure we have released this episode on Valentine's Day, so I'm going to wish all of you a happy Valentine's Day. Danielle and I think it'll be weird that if you guys are listening to us on Valentine's Day, just know me and Danielle are actually at the Overwatch League Arena.
Yes, with our jackets.
Yeah, so this is a pre-recorded episode.
Yeah. Play more Ashe. Play more Ashe.
Play more Ashe. Play Ashe for Valentine's Day.
Playing Ashe like crazy. I love Ashe.
I'm so good.
I am so bad with Ashe, but I love that I can throw the bomb thing and Bob, do something.
Bob, do something.
Yes. You have been listening to Waifus of Overwatch. You can find us at Waifus of OW on Twitter. I am at Erin Fitzgerald. Danielle, what's your Twitter?
I am at Danielle and CBO.
And you can find us on Twitch. Danielle is... Wait, Danielle, what's your Twitch? I always mix it up.
It's okay. My Twitch is at Danielle McCrae1.
Yeah, Danielle McCrae1. Make sure you're following Danielle on Twitch to watch her Overwatch gameplay. It's much better than my Overwatch gameplay. She's like gold. I am like bronze. And I am at Erin Fitzgerald. If you like to watch us play Overwatch, please follow us there. Thank you for listening to Waifus of Overwatch and supporting us over these, I don't even know how many years we've been doing this podcast now, but here we are still doing it. And we still have more actors to get on the show that we haven't had. We will see. We will see when we pop up next, who will pop up next with. But thank you to Jennifer Hale for showing up and giving us her very valuable time. Thank you, Ash. Thank you to everybody at Blizzard for creating such a brilliant female character. Keep up the good work. We're excited for the future.
Yes, that's the other thing. Thank you, Blizzard. I love you.
Everybody loves you, Blizzard. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.